Vibrillionaire Soul greetings, soul blessings, beautiful Vibrillionaire Soul family, loving, living the Vibrillionaire lifestyle all day, every day, 24/7. Yes, loving and breathing and living the Vibrillionaire lifestyle. Not just talking about it, not just teaching it, but living it. And here at Samadhi, where you already know, and not just in Samadhi, but in life in general, it's not ever only about positivity. It's not only ever about negativity. It's about authenticity. It's about rawness. It's about realness. It's about genuineness. It's about the genuine you that you were born, designed, and destined to be. That's deep inside you, much before and much beyond your thoughts, your concepts, your perspectives, your ideas of outside of yourself or inside of yourself that you're thinking, that you've been perceiving in life. There's something much deeper, there's something much purer, there's something much clearer, much realer inside of you. And here at Samadhi, our goal, our mission, our purpose in life is to remind you of that every single time you tune in. Is to remind you of you, to bring you back to you, to reawaken, to invite you, to invite you to reawaken the genuine you, because we cannot awaken it, only you can awaken it. Open the door, open your mind, open your heart, and receive what life is always gifting and blessing us with. Consciousness, awareness, presence. So, we are here to present our host, which is none other than Mother Nature herself. Mother Nature has been holding this beautiful, sacred, ancient place, this space for millennia, and she is willing and able to hold the space for thousands of years more. It's up to us how we treat Mother Nature. So this is our 34th week, our 34th consistent week to share with you about Mother Nature and to share with you why she's so important, why she's so foundational in our existence if we really desire to thrive as a human society. And not just succeed and not just, get the accolades and the achievements. Because if we can't breathe, if we can't even come out of our homes, what's the purpose? We need to remember where we come from. We need to respect this sacred, ancient, beautiful relationship with nature. And we have a beautiful message for you guys today. So,
yes, and I would like to give you, if this is your first time watching our video, we are in the West Wetlands in Yuma, Arizona, and this park has a background that is very interesting if you don't know the history about it. It used to be a dump. Yes. This was the city dump, and after maybe a lot of meetings and the city deciding let's do something for Yuma, they put all this together, and now we are sitting here what they call the hummingbird area. But believe me, you see a lot of other things, quails, rabbits, just a variety of birds, and it's such a beautiful place. So if you are here locally, if you're driving through Yuma, stop by and visit the West Wetlands or the East Wetlands.
It's beautiful.
It's all along the Colorado River. It's just such a beautiful place. So we just want you to know exactly why we choose this place. There's a lot of beautiful nature around Yuma, and all the desert. People think the desert is boring, but the desert is not boring at all.
There's Telegraph. There's Mitri Lake. There's Martinez Lake. There's beautiful areas when you come to Yuma. So if you're in the Yuma area, you'll find some incredible areas that even I can attest for. But talking about the wetlands is people come from all over the world to birdwatch, to experience the Ocean to Ocean Bridge. I almost forgot what it's called. The Ocean to Ocean Bridge here in Yuma, Arizona. People from all over the world. I met people from Japan, from India, from Germany. All kinds of different people come to the West Wetlands. And why? Because, like my wife said, people came together and they turned junk into gold. Because, like she said, this was a junkyard. So the reason why this touches our hearts so deeply is because how many of you think that you're junk? How many of you think that you're worthless? How many of you think that you don't have a place in the world, that you're not important, that you're waiting for someone else to do something, you're waiting for someone else, to stand out? And that's what this message is really about, because if you think about it, we have been so neglectful of nature, we've forgotten our roots with nature, that we become desensitized. I mean, we call things entertainment. We watch sports, we watch shows, we watch these different things on TV, and it's like we get entertained. But that doesn't really move us to do something. But when you come out here in nature, you feel your connectedness with life. The more you get into with nature, you feel that you're part of something much greater. And you start, building that empathy for the creatures, small and great. And the thing about it is, you start awakening your interconnectedness, that you are a very powerful, important component in the world. And just like they call the butterfly effect, one butterfly's wings can affect the whole ecosystem of the weather. And if that doesn't really illuminate something or remind you of something of how important you are, it's every single action, every single non-action, every single thought is affecting people around you, is affecting how people see you. And if you're not finding the genuine you, first of all, you're robbing yourself from the you that you can experience, and you're robbing others from the real you that they can experience. And let me tell you from personal experience, it is much more freer, much more lighter, much more easier in a way to be myself than to try to remember everything that I have to pretend to be, all the words I said, everything that I did. It's because I know this is not the real me. But as long as I follow my heart, as long as I feel my sensitivity, because that's what we're here to talk about, how can you awaken that sensitivity? How can you be more genuine in your life today? Because that's how we truly honor nature. When we're our genuine self, it's like we will start feeling our interconnectedness with not only ourselves, but with the people around us, with nature, and with life in general. And I believe that that's the one thing that has been neglected, is a sensitivity, because our sensitivity has been awakened to unconsciously want more violence, unconsciously want more things that don't serve us. I mean, that's why we, have high ratings with things that, come out on the TV, and it's like, that's a really macro of where our consciousness attention is at. So what we wanted to talk about today is why in the world do we feel powerless? Why in the world do we feel impotent? Why in the world do we feel like we're waiting for the next savior? We're waiting for the next solution outside of ourselves, because it goes along with the plan to keep this world as it is, to make us think that we're not important, to make us think that we're not good enough. And what happens? We self-sabotage, we abuse ourselves, therefore we manifest and we attract self-sabotage and abusing in neglecting experiences, that we continue to believe that we're not important. We continue to believe that we don't have a place in the world, instead of stepping up within ourselves. And that's what nature's calling for each and every one of us, to step up within ourselves, to reawaken our importance, to reawaken our place in the world. Because each and every one of you are important. Each and every one of you are a profound component of the solution of our world, of Mother Gaia, Mother Earth. For those of you that don't know what Mother Gaia means the energetic living being of, it's not just a planet, it's a living being. It's a very intelligent, very connected being. So here at Nature's Gathering, we just love to remind humanity of that very important part. Terry Thayer, Al Ramos, blessings, thank you for joining us. Rebecca Grace Arce, thank you for joining us. And I noticed that because we're not using your... Oh, are you sharing?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, love. So I know you wanted to share some things that we talked about.
I have a whole different outlook. And even before I came onto this path of realizing my power and my part in this world, I've never really liked to hear the news. Before, it was because it would just scare me. I'm like, why do I want to hear that? And it's so much violence and so much ugly out there. Then as I got older, I realized it is important to know what's happening in our community and what's happening around the world. But there's a certain balance, and to me, it could go one extreme. People hear the news and all they want to do is believe every single word the way it comes out.
Yes.
And we need to remember that just like any program on TV, things are edited, things are only said within a certain guideline and restrictions. The truth really is only within yourself. It's what you want to believe and what you create. But with that said, what nature brings to me, if nature is your backyard and your garden, if nature is your front yard and your garden, if nature is a whole bunch of potted plants inside your house, that's beautiful, and it's great that you have that connection with nature. But what is your true connection with your nature? And I have felt that a lot of the media, a lot of the influence that we get from what so-called entertainment is really to dumb us down a bit and play with our nature, not allow our true nature to come out. And if our true nature is to help people, oh, what's the agenda? Why are they trying to help? What is it that they want?
That's a good point.
What are they trying to get? You know, it's not trusted anymore that someone can actually do a good deed or desire to help someone without it being attached to something else. And if we could really go within our own nature, really stop and take a breath, see you for you. And that takes dedication, it takes time, because we've been programmed not to do that. We've been programmed to give our power to the exterior, what people think, what people say. I'm driving the most fanciest car, I have the most expensive home, or I have all these certifications or diplomas, or I have all this stuff out here, and people will either like me for that or they won't, and I'll find my circle based on what I've attained. But when you really look at your nature, what you were born to do and what your calling is, and you're honest and genuine with yourself, and you act upon that knowing in your heart that no one can come and take from you, then whatever difference you make, even if it's just with one, as cliche as that sounds, but even if it's you saying great day to the person you bump into in the market, or even if it's smiling to a child and letting them know that they're present, if it's taking care of your garden and you're planting trees and you're helping the environment, it doesn't matter on what scale. What you do, and you do genuinely from your heart, that's what matters. And believe me, and I know people watching that may know me know that there is an effect, that you can transform someone's life with your unconditional love, with your caring ways. And that doesn't mean that it's always pretty either. You can be caring and loving and still seem as though you're coming across harsh, because sometimes correction or love isn't always that pretty. So to me, my nature is to just love everyone and treat others the way I would want to be treated. And it's worked for me up until this point. And I can say only from when I was willing to look at my nature. And what's my nature been lately? A brat. I can admit I'm one of the biggest brats, and I pout if I don't get my way. So I know my nature. I know what my strengths are and what my weaknesses are, and I can choose when to use them. So choose wisely.
Well, see, even when we say that that's our nature, it's like we haven't even discovered the potential for
Yeah,
we are.
we can go further.
I mean, that nature
that's just the surface.
That
baby.
nature that we're experiencing right now, that's the nature that we are unfolding, because we're uncovering those natures
as we go along.
But as we go along, it's like I'm not going to go into depth about it, but we have a challenge going on, a 5-day challenge, which is called From Chaos to Clarity Challenge. And it's really, our intention is to help humanity go from chaos to clarity. Even if it's a little bit more clarity, people want the big kahuna. And it's like, even if you have a little bit more clarity, but that little bit of clarity opens up a whole doorway or gateway deeper inside you. That's our goal. It's not to open you up more to outside of you, because yes, that's beautiful, but let me tell you, the little minute difference of the world within you affects the grandness of the world outside of you. But if you're looking to affect the grandness outside of you, it doesn't even touch the minute part of you, because it's still you're causing you're not getting to the cause, you're just going to the effects within effects. And many people neglect the cause. We have so many people that come to us that they work with effects, and they hardly ever touch the cause. And just by touching, listen closely, just by touching the cause, it is truly transcendental, transformational. I mean, just beyond what we can even say right here. But my point is this, is that, hold on. My point is that if you can like start taking responsibility of little things inside of your life and find out where that resistance shows up. So the reason why we're talking about the chaos to clarity challenge is if you're in chaos, then you are adding to the chaos in your world. And that's where you are an important part to humanity. Because if we continue to exist in chaos, and I'm not talking about chaos like losing your sanity, I'm talking about chaos like, you know, always on, being on the phone, being on the TV, you know, going from this distraction to another distraction and never giving you the place that you were born to give yourself. It's to take a little rest, to reset, to recharge, to rewire, to remind or reheart and relive by reawakening to you. The more you commit to this, the more you're going to affect the cause. And by neglecting this, we're only more in the illusion. Therefore, we go from chaos to chaos to chaos. And let me just say, all of us are co-creators in this world. We need all of you to co-create with us. And if this sounds like you, guess what? We've all been there. It's not to beat yourself up. It's not to go and find more excuses that, well, this is the way that I am. See, this is the thing that we would say when we were in another world. We would say, well, that's the way it is. That's the way I think. That's the way my perspective is. That's the way my world is. And the more we reaffirm this, it's like we're using the power of our words. We're using the power of our intention. We're using the power of our focus, which is meditation, to manifest what we really don't want. And then we wonder why we keep manifesting, blaming everybody outside of us, instead of really pointing the mirror back inside of us where it's real powerful. And my whole intention for this message is that's why it's important for the plan as it is going from the past to continue, is to make you believe and think that you're not important, to idolize and fantasize about meeting this superstar basketball player, baseball player, or Hollywood star, or politician, or religious figure, or whatever figure that is outside of you. Is one day I'm going to meet this person, or I would love to be that person, instead of loving to be yourself. So what I invite you to do today, and I invite you to take the Chaos to Clarity Challenge. It's a free 5-day challenge, and starting Monday. Thank you, love.
You're welcome, baby.
That's your part. Starting Monday at September 21st at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So mark your calendars, and invite your friends, invite your family, because we are here. And like Ali said, we don't have no agenda to reawaken the world. We have one agenda, and that agenda is reawaken ourselves. Because we know by reawakening more people, we are awakening deeper parts of ourselves. So it's a win-win. You reawaken, we reawaken, and we reawaken together. But how many times have we been taking things from people, or not allowing people, to be their greatest versions, because we have not allowed ourselves to be our greatest version? You may want to help the world. You may want to give. You may stop and open doors for people. You may stop and pick up trash. You may stop and help elderly. And that's great. I'm not taking away from that. But do you help yourself, or are you helping them so you can feel important? Instead of helping them truly from your heart, because you don't need their love, you don't need their validation, you don't need their appreciation, but it's accepted. But you love yourself, you appreciate yourself, you value yourself, meaning you validate yourself on a daily basis, that you're not looking for that validation any longer. You're just being your genuine self, and that love is being genuine, instead of that love being, what am I going to get if I do this? Am I going to get the attention? Am I going to get the love? Am I going to get the validation? Because so many people are operating from this system, and it's not your fault. It's the system that we were born into. But this is why I desire to share that this is the human 3.0. You've heard of human 2.0 with, you know, Elon Musk's nanotechnology that's going to help us be a better human, what is that going to do for our compassion? What is that going to do for our clarity? What is that going to do for our inner love? What is that going to do for our wisdom? The wisdom within us. I mean, we can advance all this technology outside of us, but what we lack is wisdom. And only you can reawaken that.
Yes.
We're just inviting you to what you already are.
So you may ask, so then why does Michael and Alice bring this message when they're out here in nature? And again, it coincides with how have we forgotten, really, and I'm serious, because if we would do something about it, the world in many places, you know, animals becoming extinct, so many things happening around the world, the actual planet. And we started this nature's inner gathering way before things got very chaotic around the world, because we desire to bring people back into nature.
We felt you.
And at the moment that we sit here, and now things changed from when we started. A lot of people don't want to go outside. For a while they chose not to, and then if you do, you got to wear a mask, and you know the whole story. Yes, and so do you. But why did we decide to kind of mesh all this together? Because you really cannot continue to live in that bubble of, oh well, things will just get better to a certain degree, but where's our action? And when you enjoy nature, when you ground, if you've been watching our videos, Michael always invites you to do your grounding. Get barefoot, go out there and touch the ground with your feet. That is very important for your physical health, your mental health, but it's also good for our planet when we really value what we see out here. When you see a tree, it's not just a tree, it's part of our oxygen. So I would just invite you to enjoy nature wherever you are. If you're creating little gardens, like I'm doing my best to create mine in my backyard, if you don't have that capacity and you're in an apartment, you can still enjoy nature by eating more fruits and vegetables, by surrounding yourself, like I said, with houseplants. But just do the best that you can to take care of your nature. And that's why we invite you to our challenge, From Chaos to Clarity, because it's time that we put all that chaos aside. Up until now, I mean, life is going to be like that, right? We know we can't stop everything in one message, but if we all unite and do our part, we can at least make a dent somewhere. And I would invite you to just go within yourself and do that practice. Get in touch with your own nature.
Well, the thing about it is, you said something that's very powerful, and we're going to be starting to conclude this nature's gathering today. We can really transform in one message. And the reason why I say that is, if I was Ashton Kutcher, if I was Tom Cruise, if I was Brad Pitt, or some other, you know, Keanu Reeves, if I was
Denzel Washington,
if I was, what's that guy's name?
Russell Crowe?
No.
I don't know.
Russell Brand. And if I was at that stature and I told you that this is transformational and it works, I mean, millions would start applying it, because that's what we call trends. That's what we call, you know, because we believe these people because they've gotten to a certain place. And this is what we're here to remind you is, don't wait for that. Don't wait for you to see somebody that has enough clout to tell you that it's important. Feel around you, and you won't need a celebrity to tell you anything. Feel around you what's going on with the planet, and you won't need to hear it from a superstar, or backed or endorsed, or endorsed by somebody famous.
Are the superstar.
Because I mean, anybody that knows us, we take pictures with people in the middle of us, because you are the celebrity, you are the superstar. That's our message. That's one of our many messages.
We always tell them
is that you are the superstar. You are the president. You are the governor of your reality. And when you can take that responsibility back for yourself, just for yourself, And one thing that came to me as I was hearing Ali talk is that, when I was talking about Elon Musk, they're talking about, lengthening our lives. I mean, there's a reason why we haven't lengthened our lives, because, with the little lives that we have, we've done so much damage. So when we can really value life, life will start to reflect, and we'll start to become staying younger longer. Just think about, if you ever seen someone that's living in the moment, they don't even have to know consciousness. It could be some person that's 80 years young, and they're living in the moment. They look young, they feel vibrant. And this is my last part of this, is when you come out in nature, you can't help but feel at peace. Even just for a little. You can't help but feel loved, appreciated, connected. That's what it instills inside of you. And that's why nature is so important. But we've forgotten how important nature is. We don't, unless you tune into a nature's channel, you don't really hear about nature. You don't really hear about nature. So this is why Ali and I do this, because go watch a nature show. See our interconnectedness with life. Go put plants in your home. Start planting a garden. Gets that safe sustainability, and disconnect by connecting with the world by taking off your shoes. Taking off your shoes is the way you hug Mother Earth and you tell her, I love you, and you appreciate. There's a saying, remember where you come from. Appreciate the humble beginnings. This is our humble beginnings. What good does it do to build a strong empire if our foundation is weak? So the empire is you. You are that empire. But remember your foundation. Remember the importance of your foundation by remembering who you are.
We start to say ciao. Thank you for joining us, and please message us if you have any questions about our challenge. We would be happy to answer your questions and guide you. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. And Michael will push the button when he's ready. Ciao.
Namaste. You are important. You are loved. You are valuable. Remember that.